Hi, my name is Jen Butekofer with Noterunner-Studio, and today I will be demonstrating how to navigate through the initial Noterunner-Studio setup wizard. After you've set up your studio, you will no longer see the wizard. It's meant for initial assistance in setting up your studio and explaining what a few things mean. So this is the initial login screen, and I've made my fake teacher, Jane White. So we're going to log in. This is the studio setup screen. It's your initial screen that will begin to walk you through the 4 different steps of creating your studio. The first step is entering your studio information. For your studio information, there are 4 fields that are required: your studio name, the studio owner name, your phone number, and email address. The rest are optional or extra functionality. On this page, you have the ability to set up a PayPal option for financing. Setting it to yes here does not mean that they are required to use PayPal, only that your studio allows it as an option. Each student can select whether they'd like to use it individually. They can also select that you can select for your studio that you'd like to have the option of auto billing. Verbose mode just means that if you click yes, you will have extra help messages on your screen. Once you're familiar with the software, you can uncheck this radio box and you will no longer see those extra help messages. Down below, you have the option to enter a Facebook address or a web page. Since you're using this software, you will also be allowed to have a free Noterunner Marketplace account where you can sell supplies and be a part of competitions through the Noterunner webpage. So you can include your profile page right here. Your PayPal business ID is an ID you will need if you set up automatic billing, and we will talk about that later. Invoice starting index is the index you will initially start with for sending out your invoice. And the notes, you can include any notes you would like to use for your studio. So after you have completed your studio information, you'll click Save, and we're back at the wizard for Step 2. Step 2 is creating event categories. Now, an event category is a generalized label that you give for, such as a piano lesson or a guitar lesson or a recital, a group class. An event would be a specific instance of that category. So if you set up a category entitled piano lesson, you'll see how this applies later. The piano lesson could apply to many different specific events. So in this case, I set up a lesson called piano lesson, a category called piano lesson. The fee type, you can have it be monthly, by event, by lesson, have it be a one-time fee. We'll describe the details of those later as well. And your price and the color that you would like to use when displaying it on the calendar. After you click Save, you can continue adding new categories, or you can return to the setup wizard. After you've created your category, you will then be directed to set up your students. Right here, you will click New Student, and you will be able to enter all your student information. Now, entering the essential fields like the first name, the last name, and the email is pretty much all you really need to enter as a teacher, unless you would like to enter all the information yourself. Your student does have the ability to go into their login and enter all this for you. Their login will be, you also need the password. So their login will be something that we'll discuss later, but it'll be set on this page. It's generally their first name, then a dot, then their last name, and then the password that you set right here. Right here, you can select if that student would like to enable PayPal payments, if they'd like to have email reminders and text reminders. We'll also get into the details of that a little bit later. You can continue adding more students or return to your setup wizard. Now you are ready for Step 4, which is creating your calendar events. Click New Event, and you will be able to set up a new event. Now, here is the distinction between an event and a category. I'm going to set up an event for John, which is John's piano lesson. His category will be piano lesson. So the event is John's piano lesson, and the category is a generalized piano lesson. From here, I enter the start date. I enter the start date, start time, whether or not that you would like to have email notifications for that specific event, and if you would like the event to repeat over here on the right. If you do not want the event to end, do not enter anything into this field. If you would like your event to have an end date, then you can enter something into this field right here. You have completed your setup and are ready to proceed to your studio. Stay tuned for more videos in working with financing, reports, more specifics on events, and category management. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy Noterunner-Studio.